The House of Commons started on the 1st of June 1965. Brian McNabb, Unionist North Armagh, asked the Prime Minister whether, in view of the disadvantageous position of young persons from Northern Ireland attending international events at functions when national dress was worn, he would take the necessary steps to have a national costume design. Terence O'Neill, in an uncharacteristic burst of common sense, replied that he thought national costume could not be designed, but had its roots in tradition and must be allowed to evolve over the years. Evolution proceeds slowly, particularly in this part of the world, and 45 years on, little has changed. It's not a traditional costume some people are now wanting to design, but an entire culture. The Belfast Agreement had a shot at it, describing which traditions, even languages, are rightly ours. The human rights enthusiasts rushed in. Our politicians all have their own very political and cultural agendas. Whose culture is it anyway? My culture is mine and yours is yours. And if we're wondering what the culture of Northern Ireland is, then it's a mixture of all our individual cultures. Culture is the framework within which we think, make decisions, develop tastes. Culture is what occupies our minds, what we think about, and how we think and express ourselves. Our minds grow on what we feed them. Our intellectual diet used to be, and Dynamic House slamming before it, coming from family, school, church, reading, cinema, theatre, and a bit of what we then call wireless. Now we have the diet almost overwhelmingly electronic. Television, video games, cinema, radio. People here watch TV on average about 4 hours a day. That's what I read recently. Which means a lot of people watch a lot more to make that the average. Over a week, children spend as much time watching TV or playing video games as they do at school, probably more. This is a diet of junk food. What our minds are feeding on is, if not utter trivia, then entertainment which is totally unchallenging. That's just the BBC, the others are even worse. Conversation in pubs, offices, schools, and streets is dominated by what was on TV last night, by the latest cinema hit, by the exploits of Man U, by the misdeeds of so-called celebrities, people famous for being famous. Not only is this diet providing no stimulus to thought, it's the same diet as people living in London, Dublin, or anywhere else in these islands. It adds nothing of a distinctly Northern Irish flavour to our way of thinking here, and by its blandness and shallowness it helps obliterate any lingering distinctiveness we may have, just as the redevelopment of Belfast and other towns has destroyed the physical reminders of what was once our own particular urban landscape. Any regional culture in the English-speaking world is a subset of that wider world. In these islands, even Irish culture in the Republic is a minor variation on what is essentially an English-British-American theme. Our culture here in turn will inevitably be, in part, a minor variation of that minor variation, with the dollop of the minor variation we call the Scottish one. But let's stop trying to repeat the mistakes of government by letting politicians dictate culture. By, for example, pretending that the Gaelic language is somehow the true language of the island, or that Ulster Scots dialect is anything more than a rich dialect. That is a real feathers. To have anything that might be called a Northern Ireland culture, here's a test for you to finish with. What have you seen or heard or read in the past year or two which has excited you, challenged you, but which has been distinctly Northern Irish? Off the top of my head, I can think of 3 or 4 answers. One was the production of Sam Thompson's Over the Bridge to Waterford. There were 2 novels, not just set in Northern Ireland, but saying serious things about the place. David Park.
Sorry, Dad. 5 seconds.
David Park, Truth Commissioner, the 12 by Stuart Neville, and finally something unavailable outside Northern Ireland, a peculiar Northern Ireland case, you might say, the annual Vietnam Day Drum Festival competition in Market Hill on the last Saturday in July. Beat that.